All right. In order to get on, let's start off and go to TryHackMe from the beginning. Like I always say, try to add me if you find me. I appreciate the new ads that I have now. It's definitely gonna be a journey, and I hope that you're here for the long ride. So let's go to learning. Let me make sure that you can see what I'm showing you. Okay. So let's start all over. So we're at the beginning. Like I said, add me whenever you can. Get those points up, get those points up, and then go to learn. So there's a bunch of paths. I've kind of been dibbling and dabbling through a lot of them. Eventually, this is where I want to be at. I want to finish this red team. Hopefully, you guys have something that you want to do. If you're all about defense, it's still good that you follow a little bit of the offensive side before you do head over to defense, or just a little of each. I like to say it like this: that you're thinking about a game, there's always a defense side and then there's an offense side. If all you know is defense, you have no clue what the offense can do. So it's good to know a little bit of both sides. But so let's see, where is it? The quickest way I normally do it is I just go into search, make sure it's on all, then just put in network. Let's make sure it's easy. It's probably in the info. And then I believe it's this one. What is networking? Not that one. Well, let me go to where it's actually at so you could just see. It's called networking concepts. So you would go to learn, you would go to search, and then you would type in network concepts. It's a little bit of what we just seen, but uh it's a lot more. And the cool thing about it is once we get used to this try hack me, we'll cover such a good amount of the hack the box. We're going to kind of just skim through it, reiterate, and I may go on tangents on certain topics. And just know that this is kind of an overview of all of it. But um, as we go along, I'll keep making specific videos on specific subjects and deep dive into those ones. With that being said, join this room. If you're following along, get ready. If not, then just know that get a pen and paper ready because there's about to be a lot of information. So, um, make sure this is ready too. Okay. So right now they're going to be talking about the OSI model. There's some really key things that I want you to know before they even talk about it. So in college, I'm not done with college. I'm still in. So I had a few people say, "Oh, how did you get a job without a bachelor's or a cert? You're capping." Definitely not capping, bro. Uh, I don't even the biggest cert I have is the Google cybersecurity, and I'll talk about my opinion on that another day, but I feel like I've already taught you more than that. With that being said, in class they told you to come up with I don't know how to say that word, a mnemonic, whatever it's called. A way to remember it. And the first layer is the physical layer. You could think of the physical layer, or it's kind of self-explanatory, like the guys you see out there fixing on the poles and the wires and the cables. your actual physical computer that you can touch, your laptop, anything that you can physically do. That's the physical layer. Also wanted to throw out there um, one of the physical sides that a lot of people sleep on is the social engineering side. I have a whole episode, probably a whole hour tangent of just talking about uh, going down deep down into the rabbit hole of social engineering. So look out for that because I'm really excited. I've talked about that to a few people and their mouth is just like, what? I had no clue about that. So anyway, so that's the physical side. And then the second layer is the data link side. This is this is important because you need to know when you're doing specific attacks, you need to know what level attack, what layer attack you're doing it on. So think of the second layer as mostly the MAC address layer. Now, there's more protocols on each layer from two on up have different protocols, and there's thousands of protocols. So you don't need to know 100% of every protocol. Eventually, we'll get on Wireshark, and you'll see like there's so many protocols that you just need to know like the main 15 to 25 and you'll know a few. I mean, you'll keep knowing them. Like everyone knows HTTP and HTTPS, and that's port 80 for HTTP, port 80. I mean, port 443 for HTTPS. But we're gonna get into more. And hey, what's up? How's it going? Thanks for showing some love. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. So with the layer two, you need to know the MAC address. So let's dive a little bit into that. So it's media access control address. So it's what controls the media access. And just it looks like this. So 2 digits, colon, 2 digits, colon, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So it's 12 digits separated by colons or dashes. But the thing that you need to think of it, this is how I remember it. Just think of a MAC address as like a VIN number. So every car has a VIN number that, if they need to find out who or what, whose this address belongs to or who this car belongs to, they can look at the VIN and be like, oh, this belongs to such and such. So if it didn't have any plates or it didn't have anything, they can look you up to the VIN number. So this is the number that is attached to the to your actual hardware. And you've seen them before. Look at the tag of your laptop at the bottom. It's right there waiting for you. So that's pretty much all you need to know for that. Um, another let's see, another protocol that I'm going to mention is a ARP. So let's go see what that stands for, address resolution. And so as you can see in my diagram, um, this is what is called a LAN, a um, local area network. And so imagine this being your house. Like this is Chad's house right now, and he owns 3 laptops, 2 computers, and then we all have a router. So let's say he bought a new laptop today or whatever, and he just uh, added it to his network. Well, ARP is gonna it's gonna talk to all the computers at once. It's gonna do a broadcast. It's gonna say, "Hey, something's new is going on. Who is this guy?" And then the laptop's gonna be do the same thing back out, and then eventually they'll re-register each other's information so they know who's here and who's not there. So a local area network is within, and then um, eventually you're gonna talk to your router. We all have a router. ISP is a internet service provider. They provide us with a router so we can be able to connect to the internet. So on a um, layer two, they just talk to each other. Layer three, they start to talk to this guy. They through IP addresses. So an IP address, we'll get into that in a second, but it's going to be the thing that says, "Hey, how do we all talk to this guy so we can eventually make it to the internet?" And then layer 4, transporting, is kind of saying these are when the routers are like, "Hey, which router did I need to talk to this router to get to the internet, to get to Tom's house?" So it doesn't just go from here to here. It goes from here, different router, another router, internet, and then over to him, or however it decides to route. And that's when we get into routing protocols. There's all kind of different routing protocols. The two that I remember the most is BGP. When I worked at a networking company, I would always see this when I would do pings and look up the. No, I don't have a Discord. I mean, I do, but I don't even know how to use a Discord. Don't laugh at me, but I be trying, but I just don't be um, understanding. Um, oh, so I'm explaining networking, basics of networking, and I'm explaining it via HackTheBox and TryHackMe, just enough so people can get their feet wet, their hands dirty. I'm not going into a deep dive on it, but right now I'm explaining routing protocols, and I was explaining how I ended up using. Um, I used to use. I mean, when I worked at the networking company, I would always see BGP, and then sometimes I would see open shortest path first. It Don't get hung up on this. Just know that there's protocols, and all that it does is it's just figuring out the fastest way to get to the internet, to get to this person, or so you can watch whatever you want to do um, on the specific layer. And that layer is so we were just talking about the fourth layer, transporting through the protocols. The the session layer that adds up. It creates a session which um, it's like, how do you explain? It's like how it um, authenticates. So it's like saying, "Who are you?" And then the presentation layer kind of goes into um, I think it's authentication, and we're gonna go more deeper into this when I look, and then this application layer goes into um, this is kind of what you see right now. So that's what is presented in front of you. That's kind of the HTTP. There's other ones, HTTPS, FTP, the emails. This is kind of like all the application stuff, so you can get onto the internet or use a lot of the services. So like when you click on Photoshop and that application opens up, that's the seventh layer. That's 7 layer stuff. And then we see oh, so yeah, here it is right here. And then the DNS, domain name service system, which it's one of the two. We'll definitely go over that and get it 100. Oh, it's right here. So the domain name system, I always get that mixed up with server. I don't know why. The quickest way to explain that is when you go to a website, let's say like Google, for instance, it's 8.8.8.8, and that is the IP address. Well, people aren't really that good at remembering numbers. Like if I told you to remember this IP address, well, maybe that one's easy, but if it got complicated, it would confuse you. So what the domain name system does is it just transfers those numbers into an actual name because people remember google.com or youtube.com or whatever you like to get on. over a bunch of numbers. So let's actually dive in and start answering some of the questions. So yeah, they were talking about the physical layer. They're starting off with that. The main thing that I want you to know with this, and you can deep dive into this as far as you want, and is there are there's cats for regular cord cables like the Ethernet cables that you see, or the um, sorry, for the old school cable cords that you screw into the back of your TV, if you remember that, or you still might have to do that for your router. So usually it's about Cat 5, and then there's a specific number. Just know that there's Cat 5 through Cat 8 is what they kind of use. Cat 8 is mostly for like big companies who are handling a high amount of bandwidth going in and out of their network. And then you need to know about the other type of cords, which is optical fiber. When I worked at the networking job, I handled and helped with a lot of the fiber networks. And you can get into something called dark fiber. And then I remember when I first was starting to get a hang of it, nobody wanted to pick up those tickets in the queue, and everyone was kind of just grabbing the easy stuff. And then as as a new person, you get stuck with them because the vets kind of know how to do everything. So then I got to a point where I was picking up so many dark fibers and I had no clue what was going on. I was so lost at first, and then I eventually became I feel really comfortable. I don't want to say an expert because there's a lot of experts out there. Um, yes, yes, I can get to that in 1 second. Let me handle this real quick because NetBIOS and SMB, those are two different ports, and eventually I was planning on talking about nothing but ports in a specific section. But right now I want to break down these layers. So anyway, with the fiber optic, when you do dark fiber, you kind of it's like a fiber cord that a company has kind of forgotten, forsaken, or whatever you want to say, and then someone picks it up, like another offshore company, and then they use that service, but they still need to communicate with the company that that had that fiber. So you're doing subseas where you're kind of talking to people with doing like cables that are under the ground, in different countries, and it gets really crazy. So anyway, let's keep on going. We talked about this already. This is the MAC address. They're using Wireshark right here. I wanted to see if they show a bunch of pings. I mean, different port protocols. So we talked about this too. This was kind of like my um, you have all these computers, and these computers eventually talk to the routers, and then there's a routing protocol according to how they want to talk to each other, and then eventually it makes it to you. So looks like we can do a lot of scrolling. The most important protocols for layer 4 is TCP and UDP. And right now, as I'm streaming, that is UDP. That is called User Diagram Protocol. And what that is it's just a un unsecure it's an unsecure protocol where it's sending information nonstop. So if there is a mess up, you may see like a little glitch or a little bit of you may see a little latency, you may see lag. That's because UDP doesn't care about that. It's just go, 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 go. While the other one that you've probably seen, TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, that one is mostly focused on it needs to secure something, and then once it says it's secured, then it lets it go. So that's kind of like your regular videos that you see. And then if it messes up, it stops. It detaches from its security. So you so the just just know that that is what that is, and you don't have to get too deep into it right now, but just know that it exists. So we'll talk about the session layer. So it's responsible for establishing, maintaining, synchronizing communication between applications running on different hosts. So like I kind of said, it has to establish a connection and then it secures it, initiating communications between applications and negotiating the necessary perimeters for the session. Data synchronization ensures that data is transmitted into the correct order. And so that's kind of going back towards the TCP, UDP. So TCP, it may come out like in any kind of order and it doesn't care. It's just going to keep going. If it messes up, it's going to keep going. But TCP, if the order messes up, then it'll stop. So and then it'll reestablish, then it'll go again. Um, those are so remote procedure call and network file. I don't know too much about that yet. And then the presentation layer, we didn't go over that at all, so I'm gonna go over all of that right here. The presentation layer ensures the data is delivered in a form the application layer can understand. Layer 6 handles data encoding, compression, and encryption. Oh, okay, so this is more of the security right here, because when it's encrypted, that means people can't like sniff through Wireshark or other. They can't sniff the information and like look and see exactly what data is being sent. It turns into a bunch of gobbledygook or whatever you want to call it, encrypted messages. And then compressing, we all know what that does. Compressing it in. Um, So that's pretty much all we need to know about that. So to do an overview before we get on out of here, physical layer, we were talking about the electrical, optical, wireless signals. I didn't mention that, but it's just pretty much the physical layer. And then Ethernet. This is pretty important too. Like, I didn't learn this for a while, but when it's a specific type of um, like for instance, Bluetooth may be 802.10. Don't quote me. And then Wi-Fi 802.11. Ethernet is more one of the older ones, 802.3. While we can look at what these are called and find them later, but just know that if you hear that, um, they're talking about a specific type of service. So from you using, Wi-Fi to Bluetooth to Ether to whatever. Um, and then this is addressing and routing, getting ready for the routing, IP, ICMP. So we did that in one of my other episodes. That was the Internet Control Message Protocol, and that was talking about pings. So, which is something when I do get to hacking and showing you guys a lot of hacking, you will see almost, hopefully 100% of hackers before they attack their target, they make sure that they do a ping. Because if the ping is down, that just means that the whole network's down. There's no reason to even try to hack it. It's just like somebody unplugged that network. Speaking of unplugged, real quick, I wanted to. So my brother's in networking, and he travels the country to, help big companies keep their network up. And there's been a bunch of times where he has like flew to another company just to plug in their just to plug in their plug. Nobody could figure it out for days, and maybe the cleaner. And that happens a lot. Like when I used to get a lot of tickets, there'd be a lot of, we'll be working on it for 2 hours and come to find out that it was never even plugged in. So, but anyway, so let's get back to it. So UDP and TCP is all you need to know for layer 4 for now. And don't forget for layer 2 ARPs and stuff. Um, okay. And then HTTP, FTP, DNS. POP is a good one. We're going to go over that one. And then, yeah, so that's all we need to know. So, which layer is responsible for connecting one application to another? So, connecting one, I hope that it's layer 4, but we'll see in a second. Yep. So layer 4 for that question, if following along. Which layer is responsible for routing packets to a proper network? Does anybody know this without me having to guess? Okay, let's try it. Um, connecting. I want to say 3. So 3. Yep, that's right. And the IS in the OSI model, which layer is responsible for encoding the application data? Hmm, that sounds like 6. So let's get her done. Which layer is responsible for transferring data between hosts on the same network? That's got to be 3. Let's try it out. Oh no, it's probably not 3. Let's see. Which layer is responsible for transferring data between hosts on the same network? Oh, that's 2. That's 2. All right, let's close this one down. It's the same thing. The OSI and the TCP/IP model it has a lot of similarities, obviously, to right here. And then from here, they just say skip all these other 3 important things and just call this all the application layer. So when the router sends out to the internet, it just gets to the internet. So that's the short version of it. Which layer does the HTTP belong? Um, that is the application layer. So it wants to know where does HTTP belong. All right. How many layers does the OSI model of the OSI model does the application layer? And 3. It's just saying how much is this cover? 3. All right. Let's keep on going, trucking along. Okay, this is important. Um, so I've been knowing networking for a while, and one thing is I still don't know how to fully subnet. But the good thing is at um, most companies, they have some sort of way to teach you how to subnet. But before we get into that, let's learn what an IP address is. So the quick way to explain it is it has 4 what they call octets. So just 3 digits and a dot, 3 digits and a dot, up to 3 digits and a dot, and then another dot. And then these go from 0 to 255. So what is really important is so when you do an IF config, which you guys probably see me do a few times already. Um, let's see, let's see how much this is important. This is maximum transmission units. 1500 is the highest it can go. And then as you can see, shows this is one IP address, and then this is more of like kind of like a broadcast subnet, but it's at 255, 255, 255. So you'll be seeing a lot of this when you are breaking into um, networks and stuff. And then this is a this is a IPv6. So the first one with these digits like this is called an IPv4. Um, I think they made a certain amount a year, I mean, a certain amount in the 90s or 80s, and then the internet was born and they did not know that they were going to need that much, so they came up with IPv6, which handles the rest. Um, let's see. Um, what else is very important? So yeah, this is a subnet mask. This is a broadcast address because it has this at the end. And let's keep going. Next thing that is really important is private addresses. Private addresses, you'll see, and if you've seen any of my episodes already, you've seen this. So we have the 10 dot. They always are in the tens, so they start with the tens. Anytime you see anything starting with a 10, it's a private IP address. And then anytime you see anything that starts with 172 dot anything, it doesn't matter, or up to at least, I guess, 172.31. So whenever you see from those this range, that's another private address. And then 192.168. So if you go check your own uh, IP addresses right now, go into your terminal and press IP config for Windows, and then for Linux IF config, you will see that it will have one of these, and this will be provided from your ISP, your internet service provider, and they're just giving you a private address. That way you can't be discovered too easy. And then, so yeah, same stuff. It goes to the routers. The routers does its protocol. It reaches the web server, which is this is layer 7. Now that we are starting to understand this, I'm gonna start talking to you like that, like in layers. So this made it from layer 2 all the way to layer 7 through layer 4. Which skill is more important? You know what? So I had made a Linux basics, and I kind of was explaining that you need all three. So you need networking, you need programming. I agree with radio, man. You do need networking is more important because you understand a lot of the like internal things. So yeah, I would say if I had to choose, yeah, it's networking 100%. But I also say when you start to build payloads and you start to, build reverse shells, a lot of them is going to be Python, Bam Bash, or it's going to be, you need to know the shell, you need to know a little bit of bash scripting, you need to know a little bit of programming. And then there's a lot of times when you are, like, let's say for right now, you use Control U. Yeah, I agree. So, like, well, that's going to be too complicated, but let's still do it anyway. So you kind of need to learn. Now that's a lot. This is overkill. This is a big website, but let's say like I could still understand what this means. Like this is a source, so this is an image. This is color, so you could tell that this came from some CSS. Um, you need to know this type of stuff. Um, and then you could tell this is HTML by the end tag, and you could tell that it's HTML by the the excitement mark dot type. So um, you need to at least know how to read code. You need to at least know a little bit of the basics. I was talking to a friend, and he's been programming for years in a bunch of different languages, and I was asking him how should I go about teaching, and so I was saying I'm going to start off and teach the basics of Python, and then I'm going to deep dive into each little basics, like from the loops and all that stuff. But long story short, I say all three. You need networking, you need Python or programming, and then you need to know Linux and Windows eventually, and then you need to know the tools. And then one major tool that I'm excited to show you is Burp Suite. You need to know Burp Suite. That's kind of like using Wireshark to get in between and look at the networking or the protocols. And this is why this is important. If you don't understand protocols when you're using Burp Suite to do a bug bounty or to hack a box and you're trying to, you need to know what protocols are being sent. So anyway, let's get to going. Let's get this going. Which of the following IP address is not a private IP address? So we can already tell it's this booger right here because it was 10, 7, 172 and 192. Hopefully this isn't hard for anyone. I'm trying to explain it the best way I can. Which of the following IP addresses is not a valid IP address? So you could tell it's this one because it's from 0 to 255, and this one is going up to 305, and that's just not an IP address. Doesn't exist anywhere. All right, we're done with that one. Let's keep it trucking. So I've already went a lot on both of these, but hmm, I think I've seen something that was interesting. Oh, so this is interesting. So when we start to get into the ports, um, we need to know that from the ports range from 1 to 65,535. I know that number by heart. But and then between 0 or between 1 and 1,000, those are most of the ports that are attached to the computer. Those are some of the main computer protocols. I showed that in the last episode when I explained. I deep dived on 21 and 23, so Telnet and FTP. And then I'm a deep dive on 22. And you know what? I'm a deep dive on SMB. But so we'll explain that. No, actually, I do want you guys to see that. SSH is 22. Yep. Uh, SSH is the most important. Telnet ain't even that important. Oh yeah, 443. Yep, yep. See, you know your stuff, Gabriel. I already know. I might have to be asking you some things because if you know that, you know your stuff. With that being said, SSH is super important. That's the one that, like, let's say I was trying to get into a network. I went in, I social engineered. I was talking to Becky, and then I somehow got her credentials to her laptop. Then I go home, and then I want to remote into her computer from my house. SSH is the way to do that. That's the way to get into her network from my computer, or if I want to do it at Starbucks or wherever. Yeah, that's how it is. We all just gotta learn and take it day by day. But that's why you'll see me a lot because I'm like so crazy over this stuff. So anyway, TCP we talked about already. The most important thing you need to know with TCP is whenever so remember how I was saying it had to do that security session in order to know what's going on. So just think of it as like it's like, hey, what's up, Tom? And then Tom's like, I'm here. What's up, Jimmy? And then Jimmy's like, well, I got to send you something. So it's just first it's got to make sure it's there, and then on this side he says, I'm here. What is it? Are you there? Or he's like, are you there? And then he's like, yeah, I'm here. Let me talk to you. So you'll see this a lot when it comes to Wireshark and stuff, but it's just really important to know. So let's see, which protocols do the three-way handshake? TCP, because that is how it does the security thing before it even allows it to turn on. And then what is the approximate number of the port numbers in thousands? 65? Is that what they're asking? Okay, yeah, 65,000. All right, let's keep it going. Now, encapsulation, honestly, I'm not like, yeah, SQL, you need to learn SQL. There's so many SQL attacks going on out there. But let's see, with the application data. So, okay, they're starting from the top. So you guys should know that this is layer 7, or if we're using the TCP IP, this is layer 4. And then every time it goes, so this is coming from the website. So from the website we're looking at now, In order for it to get to you, it has to add another header, which is the TCP UDP header, which is kind of to be able to, it's just letting the next layer know what to look for. So when it goes down to the IP header, it's like it already knows because it's like, okay, this is right here. So then and then when it goes down to the layer two, the Ethernet header, um, it it adds another one, and then it does the same thing in reverse. So now this is you trying to go to the internet. It's gonna take that off and then take that off. As it uses it, it takes it off, and then it takes you all the way back up. So, and this happens in lightning speed, nonstop, and that's pretty cool that all of this stuff is happening and we have no clue. But so that's what I just explained, the life of the packet. On Wi-Fi, within what will an IP packet be encapsulated? So Wi-Fi is going to be the Ethernet. Hold on, let me see. Wi-Fi header. I have a feeling I'm wrong. Hold on. If someone knows how to help me out with this or not, let's see. So for I know it's not Wi-Fi. It's already telling me that's not it. Um, okay, let's read this real quick. I think they're looking for something else. So when we get to, yeah, they're asking on a Wi-Fi, within what will an IP packet be? No, you're fine. Um, oh, are you in Argentina right now? That's what's up. I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming through. Yeah, I'm new to all this YouTube stuff. And when I looked at my analytics and I seen there were people from UK and India and Argentina and stuff like that, I'm like, what? That is so cool. Um, I'm just gonna ask what's the name real quick, Chat GPT. When all else fails, just go do some research. No, I don't have time for that. Okay. Yeah, I could. The other screen that I'm looking at, it's just me asking Chat GPT, and then this is what I'm trying to figure out real quick. Um, on a Wi-Fi, within what will an IP packet be encapsulated? So it's one of these three. It's either so that's what I love about streams. Oh, it's a frame. See, yeah, it shows IP header, but let's see. See, you see it's one, two, three, four, five. Let's try frame real quick. Oops. Okay, so I'll explain what that is later. It, let me get it ready so I can explain that. And shout out to you from Nepal. I used to have a boss and he was Nepalian. He was so funny. I miss him so much. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's see. So it's the PDU. What does PDU stand for? Let's just not try to make this stuff up. PDU meaning. Let's see. PDU and networking. Protocol data unit. So um, when it's on layer one and it's going through electricity, it's bits, zeros and ones. Then when it transfers over to the MAC address, it goes to frames, and that's what they were talking about. And then when it goes over to the internet layer, it starts to talk in packets. And then whenever it goes to transport, it talks in segments. Now, you don't have to fully know that right now, but if you want to deep dive into it, it's a protocol data unit. Um, and it is important, but I just, to me, don't think it's super important right now. You just need to get a 20%, 30%. I like to say the meat and potatoes of what's going on, and then you can learn the carrots and the gravy and peas and all that other stuff, whatever you eat as sides later. Um, so what do you call the UDP data unit encapsulated on the, I'm guessing it's segment, if I could spell it. Um, Hold on. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's probably packets. Let's try it. My bad. I don't think I spelled it right. Let's see. Let's just segment. Yeah. Oh, I have an E. Oh, still wrong. Packets. Let's try packets. It's one of them. Let's try packet. Oh my gosh. What is it? Okay, what do you call the UDP data unit that encapsulates the, that is it. That's it. So the UDP data, TCP, UDP, the fourth level is segment. Okay, let's try it. Segment. Up chat GPT. I need to, just so I can get the ball rolling, but I know it has to be one of these. It's like that's, and to be honest, I thought I already did this, so it's pretty good that, you know, let's see, come on. Hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's that is it. Segments. Oh my gosh. See, that's a see. We put in the same thing. We might just have to skip that booger. Okay. Why do you? What do you call the data? Okay, I'll try without an S. See, datagram. Let's try it. Oh, thank you, Jack. I thought we was about to sit there forever. I'm gonna have to go do some touching up on learning that. Thank you. Uh, what do you call the data unit that encapsulates the application? So this better be segment. Like, come on, something be segment at this point. Yay! All right, we're done with that. So remember, if you guys are following along, datagram. Let's keep the ball rolling. All right, telnet. Oh, they're actually making me start a machine. So this is cool. So this is a reiteration. So if you've never been on TryHackMe, in order to uh, get the container started, get the machine started, you would have to go to, it would show something right there, kind of what you see me do. And then you would have to click this as well. So one is the attack machine, and then one is your actual machine. So it's giving us a timer. Yeah, I don't know what I would. Yeah, and telnet is 23. I talked about that a lot in my other. Um, I don't even know what the name of the title is, but uh, yeah, TryHackMe has a lot of free um options. I don't know, like I think your timer is different, and but yeah, they have a lot of free boxes, and you know, I had found a mentor because in a lot of the videos, I would say I rushed and I rushed, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I was just so excited. I'm still excited, but I learned to calm down. And I ran into two mentors, and they both were like, well, you know a lot of this, but you don't know these like basic things. And this is why you keep getting stuck on these. You know, you can do half of the boxes, then you get stuck. So after hearing that a lot, I went to like, I just decided to go back, and that's why I made this um, YouTube so I can go back. And I'm like, why don't I show people and help people and find people that are, you know, amazing, and we can just grow together. And you know, 4 or 5 months later, after I got over the yeah, keep calm. After I got over the jitters, I'm here. So with that being said, it's about to get ready to load up. Let's turn this into a full screen. So, what? Okay, so most people know, if you've seen some of my videos, I go straight to Tmux because Tmux is my baby. And then, so if you ever never used it, you just type in Tmux. That's the name of the tool, the name of the command. Then you have to do something called a preset, and then that's Control B. And then to open up a pane, another window, you Shift 5, so the percentage button. And then boom, there you go. You got two of them. And then from here, I like to kind of work from there. So we're gonna get into the telnet machine. Let's see what they want us to do. Give it 2 minutes to boot up. Um, in simpler words, telnet, a telnet client allows you to communicate. Most people know that, and I mentioned this before, it's pretty much deprecated. It has no encryption, so that means when someone uses it, if we were to use Burp Suite or Wireshark or any of those networking tools, we could see exactly what they're talking about. Um, so what does it want us to do? It wants us to echo the server. So it listens to port 7. What? I never heard of anything under 20, so that's interesting. So in order to get use Telnet, we will have to type in the name of the tool or the protocol, and then we'll put in an argument. This is using Linux, and this is just kind of understanding the basics of Linux and stuff. So with that being said, um, let's see if I can do it right here. Yes. Okay. Oh, it had a 7 at the end. Let's see what that. So now we're trying to connect into the Telnet port. Oh, it's already connected, is it? It says echo connected. Oh, so just say hi. Okay. Let's see. Oh, it's just repeating whatever I say. That's pretty weird. This wasn't doing it on the other one, but hello world. Okay. And then to get out of here, or actually, if you're never used it, then I think you can just print it out help. What? Why is it doing this to me? Oh, that's because I'm on the 7. Let me see if I go back in. Control C. Okay, let's see. Let's echo hello world. What? What is it? Why is it doing this to me? Oh, to exit is this bracket. So let me exit out of here. Okay, let's read what it says because at this point, okay, control and right bracket. Oh, so this is the echoing server. So this is how you get it to like, I mean, this is if you want to talk to the Echo server. I didn't know that Echo had its own port. What? It's crazy, man. Okay, let's get out of that because I do not like that. And then let's exit out real quick and go back in. Bye. Why is it not? Let me zoom in over here. Okay, so let's see what else it needs me to do. Oh, and then it wants me to go over here to this one. So I should be able to put quit. Yeah, if I could spell quit. Okay, so it closed. And then now it wants me to go try out 13. I've never done this. This is pretty cool to learn. All right. So now I'm back to the regular shell. Um, let's see. You can always try to figure that out with $0. See, now I'm back to the bash shell. The bash shell, just think of it as a terminal. It's just a specific brand of the terminal. There's a bunch of them. ZSH is another one. So yeah, I'm gonna go back in real quick and then I'm gonna go to 13. I don't know what's going on, but okay. So it was closed by a foreign host. Why are you able to connect and I'm not? What did you do that I didn't do? Whatever. Finally request a web page using Telnet. Yeah, let's do that one. So we're just putting in certain port numbers at the end so we can try to communicate with it. So port 80. Now we're on a website. And then let's see if we can actually enter this website normally real quick, just for the fun of it. No, you ain't having problems. All right, let's see. Oh, so look, we were able to find the flag. This is what a flag looks like. Uh, for HackTheBox, it's kind of the same. It'll say HTB, and then in some brackets, it'll say some stuff. So for TryHackMe and some brackets, it'll say some stuff. So we already found it without even. Uh, they wanted us to go to Telnet way, but using my normal, um, tactics, my normal attack surface, I was able to find it. And that's another cool thing. There's always so many ways to find it. So if you're following along, you can literally just go here and copy it. But we're going to do what they want us to do just because they're trying to teach us something. So we will go into, and then what will we do? LS? What do you do when you get into here? Let's see. When you get into, oh, we got to get and then HTTP 1.1. Eh, I already like feel like let's just go to the website the regular way. Okay, get h slash HTTP 1.1. Oops. So I guess you can't do that. Get slash space HTTP slash, what did you say? I need to copy this. 1.1. 1.1. Yeah, see, and I don't know if you seen my little trailer video, the trying to be sad video. But yeah, it's kind of hard too in the industry. It's like you try to reach out to some people, and the ones that are way up here, they're kind of just like, ah, you don't understand that. You suck or whatever, those type of vibes. And I reached out on a lot of forums, like, hey, can somebody help me? I know networking, I know programming, and I know a little bit of, cybersecurity. Can somebody help me? And then they'll just or ignore you or whatever. So that's why I created this. I want a community. See, you know, and then I'm like, I just want a community, and I do get it. Some people do ask some weird questions. They like, hey, I want to hack the NASA. Can you teach me? Like, okay, bro, like I'm serious. I want to find people who can like help me get to a point. And you know what? I'm not to answer your other question, Gabriel, I'm not that good at Termex, but we gonna learn, man. We gonna learn. And oh, when I copy and paste in here, I just control shift V. Because if you try to do a normal control V, it won't work. So anyway, let's go answer some questions. We already know the answer to that. What? Oh, so that must be the next one then. This Oh, yeah, it's definitely the next one. Okay, so this one's gonna it's trying to ask me, okay, so get slash, and that slash can mean from like all or the root, and then let's see if I can type right here. Okay, yeah. So let's go back there and let's just do exactly what it's saying right here. So capital G, get, and then slash, and then capital TTP slash 1.1. Come on now. Give me a connection or no. In the other episode, I go over these are called recreation codes, reproduction codes. It's something to tell you if the website is up or if the website is down or if it's being redirected or if it's in construction. Um, yeah, and it's very important to know. So if you don't know what that is, go back to my Telnet episode and watch that. What is going on though? Do I need to press enter? Oh, okay. Why did I get a bad request? I think the one dot let's try that again. So let's clear, control L to clear. Let's I think what it's asking me or what I need to do is put in the actual address. So let's put in the actual address. So space that HTTP slash and then let's put in this address real quick. I'm not sure. I'm not 100 because I just tried what they told me and it didn't work. So, hmm. Well, we're going to skip that one. You can play around with it as much as you want. Hopefully, you get it. Hold on, let's see what the hints say. Note that you need to press enter twice, typing the host, and the answer should be the format name slash version. Let's try that one more time. One more time for the team. All right, so 80 get, come on now, HTTP slash 1.1, enter twice. It's something, whatever. So we're just gonna keep on trucking. If you guys find it out, please put it in the comments. Help me out. Help everyone else out. Outside of that, we are done. So let me close all that down. Okay, so real quick. So that's pretty much everything you need to know. You can go over that over and over and over until you get it. Watch it as many times as you want. Leave some comments, some information that you may have discovered. But I'm bored. I'm about to go to the next one, and it's the Hack the Box one, like I promised. A lot of it's going to be kind of skimming through. We've already talked about it. If you want to hang in there and go through it and get that completed, let's do this. So, first thing I wanted to mention is it is inside of um, the academy side. Boy, I want to do some labs. I'm going to do some labs right after this stream, and I might restream. But okay, yeah, give me you give me a topic, and I'm in there. You let me know what you want to know, and if I know it, I'm gonna teach you. And if I don't, we can learn together. That's why I try to structure so many. There's one where it's just hack and chill. There's one where we will, I'll be teaching things that I know. That's what this one is. And then there'll be ones where we're learning together. I have zero clue what is going on, but in order to get better, you got to keep learning. So anyway, I don't know if you know about the networking, um, but let's get her done. Let's see. So you'll see I clicked on that. What I do want you to know, just for people who've never been on here, I just want you to kind of see what's going on because I have a bunch of friends that's like, yeah, I'll get on. I don't know what it's about. But they separate stuff through the fundamentals, the intro, pen testing. What? I don't have that online. This must be, oh, this is new. I'm like, what? I already know. And then the Linux, just a lot of the basic things you need to get started. And then obviously today, the focus is on um, the focus is on networking. So this one should be completed. Let me just type it in. I ain't got time. We don't got time for all of that. What? Where are you? Let me type it in here. Networking. Oh, I can't wait to do this one. I'm all about learning as much as I can about Nmap. Um, let's see. All. Turn it into all. Not in progress. All. Okay. And then type networking. All right, we're gonna go through the intro of networking. So obviously you'll click on it. Yeah, I think after this one, it's gonna be a while before I do another networking. I just wanted to make sure people know that it's important and you need to know these basics. But um, I'm so excited to want to hack things. Like I don't know. I think I got an obsession or something. Uh, yep, and Bash too. I kind of explained a little bit of Bash in my Linux too, but then I went back and I looked at the stream and it was ultra choppy, so I might have to do that Linux 2 again. It's not that easy learning how to stream, and then you get all these different creators that's like do this, and then someone's like do that, but they don't have the same computer as you. And I have a pretty nice computer, but I don't know. Some of those guys is big balling, and I was copying their settings and I'm like, duh, 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 good, and I was like, oh my gosh, how's someone gonna learn that? So I'm gonna have to redo it anyway. So they go over one thing that is already important, topologies. So just oh, sorry, let me switch. So the whole time it was on me, but just know that for the dashboard, you need to uh, I'll just do this real quick. You just go to modules, or you can just go to right here, search network, and then you should see something that says intro to networking. I went to modules last time. I went to all modules, and then I went to networking. All right. Now we're all caught up. All right. And then view. All right. So the most important thing, like I said, that I already showed up is topologies. You need to know a little bit about topologies. Um, and then this is kind of subnetting. Subnetting is going to be just think of subnetting for now because you need to eventually, well, you don't need to. If you're trying to be a network engineer, you're trying to get your network plus, yeah, you need to know subnetting, but you're trying to be a hacker, you just need to know that it exists. You're trying to be a pen tester, ethical hacker. So the subnetting is going to be the last. So you know how you get those 4 octets. And remember, this is a private network. That slash right here is the subnet. So whenever you see that, just know they're talking about subnetting. This is kind of, I've already showed you something like this, but obviously there's this cooler. You're at your LAN, local area network. You're talking to the router. We're on layer 4 now. So we're on layer 2. And then we go from layer 2 to layer 4. And then we go talk to the internet. And then the internet goes down and it talks to the domain server, which is 7 and 6. Um, so that's kind of how this works. This is a company. So this is important because, like, okay, I was talking to somebody and I asked them this question, and I'm asking you guys this question. If you were, uh, if you were going to hack into like a game, how would you do it? Would you hack into the actual game or would you hack into their network? Which one would you choose? Or do you even know what I'm talking about? That's my generic poll for now, since I don't know how to really create polls. Would you hack into the network or would you hack into the actual like game? And then if you said network, do you know why you chose network or why you would choose game? I'm gonna give you a few seconds to kind of respond and then I'll explain all of that because it's important. Like the more you start to understand this, this is why network to me kind of trumps learning programming. Yeah. So why would you choose network? Okay, so I'm explain it while you guys put up your answer. And yeah, you want to get the network. Okay, because you think about it. All right. Yep. If you okay, let's say Billy Joe. I don't know where I came up with that. He is a let's say supervisor for whatever game you like or whatever. And if you can get to his credentials, then you could take over the whole network. If you hack the game, you may just hack a character, or you might just hack the skins, or you might just be able to do a few glitches, like let's say the glitch of flying or infinite, you can't die, or whatever the game is that you're playing. But after those glitches, Billy Joe can just see you and then block you out of the game and then ban your account. But if you get Billy Joe's uh, if you get his credentials and you take over his computer, and then you do privilege escalation up to the ad system admin, you got the whole game on lock. You can turn it off. You can you can do whatever you want. You can just turn it off air right now, or you can take thousands of people's passwords, and whenever they like get um let's say they pay for a new skin or a new thing on the game, then you can take that. And this for educational purposes only. I don't want you guys out there running around trying to hack games. But I'm just saying, yeah, looking at it from a networking perspective, you need to understand the networks, because the game part is just layer 4 or layer 7. That's the actual application but if you can get down to the layer 2 where you're actually taking controls of people's MAC addresses and their actual computers, or layer 1 physical. Yep, you gain all control. So yeah, let's keep it moving. I just wanted to make sure people are kind of understanding that, and understanding the info or why it's important. Um, and like they're vaguely mentioning spoofing and man in the middle. So like, you know, um, man in the middle attacks and spoofing can happen on a few layers, but they mainly start from like layer 2 all the way up to layer 7, or layer 4 all the way up to layer 7. And or like, let's say an arc poisoning attack. I explained to you earlier what an arc attack is, or an arc broadcast. If you don't know what layer the arc is on, then you're kind of just blindly hacking, to be honest. But with that being said, that's a layer 2 attack, so you know that you're right close to the physical. So yeah, um, mark that as complete. Let's see, it goes over to the next for me. Let's see. That way I don't have to scroll. So we talked about a local area network. That's like your house. We explained that. A wide area network is the internet, how it's talking to multiple people. Just think of it as the internet. There's a WLAN, which is the wireless version of your, and like I said, that's like a 802.11. Um, and then there's a VPN. We all know a little bit about VPNs, but it just connects multiple network sites to one LAN. So if you work from home, you're definitely on a VPN. I make sure I use a VPN for everything. I mean, I got so many VPNs, I don't even know. Um, I've also, let me tell you something. Let me tell you a crazy story about VPNs. So, the first time learned what a VPN was, it was called OpenVPN, and I was following this walkthrough of this amazing hacker guy, and he takes you along the dark web. And one of my teachers is a threat hunter for the DoD, Department of Defense, and he was saying, don't do that because they can see when you get on and when you get off. They can't see what you're doing when you get on, like while you're connected to the session, the TCP connection that we learned, the SYN act, or you get that, you get the point, but the three-way handshake. But when you're connecting, they could see the three-way handshake, and then when you're disconnecting, they could see the three-way handshake. So they could see when the session starts. But yeah, I was just on for educational purposes. I'm pretty sure a lot of us was like, what is actually on there? And I went on there and I was like, whoa. I ain't gonna talk about none of that, but that's not that kind of page. But just know that they can see you. Um, and then another thing, talking about that real quick, is if you don't have a VPN and you get to this point on the web. So like, there's an ISP, and the your internet service provider, they are there to protect you from being what I like to call the wild. The wild is like any section outside of, so anywhere from here is like all ISP protected VPNs and all the stuff that we see. This part from here is like free internet access type things, but you can get hacked instantly. So I like to say, if you headed into that direction, you need a VPN, which is at least some sort of body armor. Doesn't mean you'll be protected 100 because there's some elite people out there. But let's get back on subject. So yeah, VPNs, blah blah blah. Global area network. I've never really even heard of this. I've heard of MANs and networking. That's like your whole city. And sometimes I've had tickets. I've had, I've taken on an issue where like the jail would be doing maintenance. They'll be doing networking around the jail, and then the jail system goes out, and then the hospitals go out, and then all these important things, and that's just the man went out. So whenever they do maintenance on the man, just think of it as the city, um, and then the pan, which is your personal area, like your Bluetooth. So yeah, that's that. Like I said, I'm gonna kind of be skimming through this because a lot of it is a tad overkill for now. I talked to you about the coaxial cables, like I said, that's like the cable that connects to uh, your router. That if you got some age to you, with this cord automatically with the little copper hanging out and you twist it. That's that. Um, and then we talked about fiber, and then twisted pair cabling is um just a better version, the next level of this. Um, One thing that I do want to mention about this, and me and one of my amazing friends, she's a network engineer as well. We were talking about these two don't really have security. So have you ever text? Remember back in the day, if got you some age, back in the day, 10, 15 years ago. I mean, you probably still go through it now, but you send a text and then all of a sudden you can hear that the static. Um, Wireshark and programs like that can pick that up, and it's not encrypted, so you can like see what someone sent. Isn't that crazy? So it has no security, and it also has a ton of static. And then fiber optic, it's like super fast, and this is what the world is slowly transitioning to. But yep, Burp Suite. Yep, I forgot to say Burp Suite. Man, I love Burp Suite. I don't know how to use it completely yet, but I can't wait to be a beast at Burp Suite because maybe, we can go and become bug bounties and go find some bugs and get us some money, some legal money. But you need to know Burp Suite. But you need to know this first. If you don't even know this, you don't stand a chance in a bug bounty. So I see a lot of people watching bug bounties, but they're asking like, "What is layer one?" Like, bruh, go back and learn Burp Suite. I mean, go back and learn networking, and then programming, and then Linux and Windows, and then take yourself over there. But it's cool. Do what you want. But I've learned to go and take some steps back. So anyway, yeah, I was already telling you about the dark fiber. That's where all that comes from. Oh, one last thing I do want to mention is fiber is extremely weak and delicate. It's ultra expensive as well, which is why you don't really see it in households. Coaxial cables are obviously durable. Your kid can step on it, bend it around, or whatever, your little brother, and it's still going to be working. This is why most companies have this, and like most lands don't have this, most households. So another thing that's really important is we kind of talked about routers, modems. I don't know the difference. I try to ask people, they tell me these 20-minute explanations. It's the same thing to me as of right now. Um, don't don't get caught up in all the extra jargon. Just learn the basics and hack. So anyway, topologies are really important. They're going to talk about them right now. There's point to point, star, mesh, and hybrid. Point to point is like this was ancient. If I connected my computer to your computer through a cord, you don't see that anymore. Wi-Fi handles that. Bus, ancient, deprecated for the most part. This deprecated as well. Point to point. This is like all of these are connected to one wire. And then if host C goes out, the whole network goes out. If any host goes out, the whole network goes out. Star, now they're all talking to the router. This is uh, still around, but I'll explain it. Because the downfall to this is obviously if the router goes out, which is this is what we have at our house, most of us. I mean, I don't know if you got some super setup, but this is what most normal people have. We have our laptop, our iPad, our phone, all these things connected to our router, and our router sends out. Um, oh yeah, what star, and then ring, same thing, deprecated, but it's still used in another way. But it's the same thing. It goes over. Host A talks to B, talks to C, talks to D. D goes out, the whole thing goes out. C goes out, it doesn't matter. Mesh is still used. Now this is like, I mean, and most people don't like, I mean, I've worked at some warehouses back in the day where they still have some ancient stuff. It's pretty scary. I didn't, well, checked in their networks and like, whoa, they're using like 1980 stuff. But anyway, with that being said, you can see how this kind of helps out each other. So if C goes out, only C is down, but B and D and A could still talk to each other. Tree, deprecate. Well, no, not really. This is still kind of normal too. We have, I mean, in businesses, they all have this, but if the server goes out, the whole thing goes out. So what most people use are hybrids. They just it could be I mean it could be star in a ring, or it could be uh see, this is bus right here, but then it turns into a mesh. You get the point. So they kind of just mix them all up to whichever one is the best. This doesn't work exist anymore. Deprecate it. Proxies, I love trying to explain proxies. So the way that I will explain to you what a proxy is like you just got to think of it as like a servant slash bodyguard. So you ever went to the gym or went to like, any of your favorite stores, and you try to connect to their Wi-Fi, and then a screen pops up and says, it's pretty much what is that? User AUP. That's my GRC kicking in. Acceptable use policy. It pretty much says, in order to use this, you can't get on this site and that site or do this and do that, and then you got to press accept, and then all of a sudden you can use their Wi-Fi. That is a proxy. It's very important to know what a proxy is in a network. Very, 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 very important. Um, if you have VPNs, you could set up a proxy, but you get the point. So there's two. So remember when I was showing you the codes, the 100, 200 through 500. What is that called again? Let's just pull it up. HTTP request response codes. So we're going to pull that up real quick just so I can explain this. Bam. Let's go. So whenever you log into something, and you guys probably seen 404 not found, that's obviously a joke right there. You've had to see 404 not found. It just means the server, the client side, and we'll go deeper into that. The client side doesn't understand what is going on, so there's no way the server side would understand. And then 300 means it's been redirected. Let's say there was a page called, uh, a forum page, a forum directory, which is the same as a page, but um, and then people are chatting on it. They're interactive. They're having a great time, but they need to do some upgrades. They sometimes might redirect this to whatever form 2 or form 5, so the programmers can do what they need to do in order for you to enjoy the newer things or whatever. So that's sometimes for maintenance and stuff like that. 200s, the most important, means you have a success. Everything's good. And then there's different codes, 201, 202, 20 whatever. That doesn't matter right now. I just wanted you to know that. Um, So it sends out that request. It's like, hey, what's going on? And then the bodyguard, the proxy is gonna be like, uh do you before you can talk to our internet and before you can talk reach our servers, we need to make sure you're not going on any crazy sites or doing any things that will hurt our reputation. So do you accept this? Do you, and then you got to click accept or decline, and obviously you accept, you're on, decline, you're not. So that's me. This is me right here. And I'm trying to go to, I'm at the gym and I'm trying to use their Wi Fi so I can listen to my music. And then I accept yes. And then it says, okay, you cool. Now you can use stuff. So that's a forward proxy. Now, the way I like to explain a reverse proxy is we are, I work at a company and then I'm trying to go get on some sites and I send out to go to some site I shouldn't get on. Let's just say that. And so here's the internet, and then the firewall and the proxy is gonna be like, eh, you can't go on that site, bruh. This hurts our reputation. Or you signed a acceptable use policy that says you can't be dibbling and dabbling, and you will only go on sites that are focused for the website. So if you work at a company, you've seen this before. You're trying to get on Facebook or YouTube, and they're like, nope. And there's something also here that's called an ACL list, and this list will say, um, do not allow people to get on Facebook, do not allow people to get on YouTube, or what most defense guys do. So I know a little bit of defense, and this kind of helps you out. So they block all ports, they block all websites, and then they only add in what they want. So they may say only add in company xyz.com, and then you know. So this is pretty much, if you use, you're going on the right websites, you accept it, the proxy will will send, he's been granted to the website stuff, and then they'll send it back. But if you go onto what wrong stuff, you'll be stopped right here. And then you see how there's two firewalls. There's one blocking the proxy. So this is a bodyguard itself, but this is a real bodyguard. This is a fence. And then the proxies, there's still another one that says, hey, make sure this is right. Make sure this is ParkerLogic. Make sure this is who he is and blah, blah, blah. And then he can get there. So, systems start to get more complicated. We already went over this. Oh, here's NetBIOS. I don't even know if the person who was asking for NetBIOS is still here, but the way I like to, um, the way I like to get into NetBIOS is, um, it's kind of like when you first get on. Let's see if they explain it, because if they can explain it a little bit better. Nope, they sure don't. So it's like when you first get onto the website, you turn on, you first turn on your internet or your computer, excuse me. You first turn on your computer, and then you see all this stuff that, this is called the kernel. This is the kernel. That's the kernel part of the, and it's somewhere, I believe, I would like to believe between 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. Oh, it's 5. Excuse me. So it's 5. It's off. But anyway, it's the way to say, hey, this is the way that you can. Um, it's just creating a session. This is a way that you can. Let me see if I can find something that explains it more, because I do want to understand it a lot. Network basic input output. Oh, okay, yeah. So, and at the beginning, that's what you're handling. You're messing with the inputs and the outputs. Hmm. Let's see if they explain it pretty well. Oh, it's not a network protocol. I thought it was at least a port. It operates on 3 and 4 of the OSI model. May still be in use when it's combined. It's Microsoft based. It provides two communication modes, a session and a datagram. See, I guess I don't really understand it because the guy who put Jack who put in datagram earlier, I was like, I don't even I don't remember datagram. Uh, but yeah, we're not about to deep dive into that right now. Let's keep pushing. I'm gonna have to make a whole episode or a mini episode explaining that. But what I do want to, we've already seen all of this, so just know it's a layer five session. It creates the session. Um, layer five and layer six is pretty interesting. But when there's a lot of reverse shells created, sometimes you have to create like a payload that creates a reverse shell. And like I was saying in some of the other episodes, it's your way to like trend to like, how do you say it? I like to say teleport inside the network. So when we what we were looking at, we're inside of the internet part past the firewall. It's created a lot in the layer session when you're like messing around with the when you're uploading a photo. So like you can upload a photo and then boom, from there you can create a listener and you'll see it eventually. You're going to see it a lot, but it is good to understand because at first I couldn't wrap my head around it. I'm like, what? So how are they pressing upload and then all of a sudden they listen and then it creates some sort of, but this is all that magic is happening here on layer six. We already went over a lot of this. Oh, datagram. Hmm. Hmm. We talked about this earlier. It adds on, then it adds on, and it keeps getting rid of it all the way till it goes up. And then when it goes down, it goes all the way, and boom, there we go. So let's see what else. The OSI model. I'm skipping all of that. We talked about that for 6 years now. Yep, we talked about this. Network layer. Um, so um, here's some of the important protocols. ICMP, we talked about that. That's a ping. OS, Open Shortest Path Finder or something like that. I've mentioned this earlier. These are routing protocols. The seventh part of the, and then IPsec is Internet Protocol Security, and then IBP 4 and 6. Next. See if there's anything else. Let's go into um, subnetting. No, we already talked about that, but I just want you to see. So that dash six, there's usually 8, 16, 24, 32. Those are the main ones. That's all you need to know. MAC address, we talked about that at the beginning. This is kind of getting into the exact how they are if you want to know all that information. To be honest, you can almost skip a lot of this. Let's go to protocols. Oh, okay. So here's a few protocols. This one's deprecated. We used to use this for Wi-Fi, but it's not encrypted. So a lot of machines that are made, most people make them like whenever something's new's made, like let's just say like even Chat GPT and all this, they kind of don't even make it with security in mind. They just make it and then, eventually, people have to figure out how to secure it before it gets hacked. So this is deprecated due to not having any security. We talked about SSH vaguely. Um, this one's important. I don't know what number. I wish they would have gave us a number, but this is the one that sends emails and receives. So when you're sending an email, you're not sending it on HTTP. You think you are, but you're sending it through a whole different protocol. So that's why all the phishing and smishing or all that stuff, the phishing stuff, they're attacking you from this port. So I don't know if you guys know that, but that is super interesting and super important to know. Um, this is a server message block. When you get onto this port, it feels like you're on Telnet. It's just cooler, and you know it, it's meant for you to share files. And another thing that's important is So printers, I still believe to this day have no um, security because what I've done at my job, there's a lot of like telephones and printers that we have that when we get access to those, like we already know free game. Just like these new smart light bulbs, and um, have zero security. Alexa does, but some of those don't have any security. So, but server message block is what they use to, or I don't know if they still do, but some companies definitely to share files and printer information via network without going on to the internet, HTTP. So we'll definitely do a deep dive on that. There's an actual full 2 boxes that I already have in mind. So the person who asked me about that, I'm gonna do a full um I'm gonna do a full episode of me hacking just SMB. So stay tuned for that. Uh we're not gonna get into all of this. This is overkill. There's so many. This one's important, but yeah, there's so many protocols. Don't get lost in protocol city. Just learn the most important 20. These ones right here, these are the important ones. And we've talked about a lot of these already multiple times. Um, there is one note that I wanted to mention for FTP. There's a new version of it, and it's called SFTP, which is just a secured version of this. Because, like I said, they made things without security in mind. DHCP is super important, and notice it's 2 ports. Dynamic host configuration protocol. This is what makes the IP addresses. It does it automatically unless you turn it off and you know how to set your own, which don't do that if unless you're a pro networker. This one is the remote desktop protocol, another way to remotely get to someone besides SSH. Let's see if there's anything else important that we didn't cover. We talked about the domain service, so we're good. We're good. We're almost done with this. We're Wi-Fi. Who doesn't know what Wi-Fi is? If you don't know what Wi-Fi is, you definitely shouldn't be trying to hack anything. VPN. Hopefully, let me see if they haven't. Nah, I was hoping that they had a diagram showing servers and clients. Not that important. I think we're done. Yeah, not that important. You can deep dive if you want, but like I said, meat and potatoes is all you need. Nope. We talked about TCP uh, a million times already. TCP, UDP, and then cryptography. All you need to know for now is, um, and I'm going to be mentioning this a lot. There's RSA version. There's private keys and there's public keys, and those are distributed in specific types of ways. Let me see though. Where I'm trying to see if there's anything important that I need to. Nope. That's it. So I'm probably going to do another stream very soon, and then I'm definitely doing the one tomorrow night. Um, if you haven't done this, like I mentioned for one of my hiring strategies, share this on your LinkedIn. Make sure that it gets in front of people, and you have plenty of stuff to talk about on your LinkedIn about what you learned. So, I mean, if you've been following along this whole ride, what you'll know. Hold on, why is it not showing? Anyway, um, you probably can still hear my voice, but the most important thing to know is post that on LinkedIn and then talk about how you did it, what you did, and then yeah, throw some tags in there, let some people see this. But my next one, we're gonna focus on Python, and then after that, we're gonna get straight to hacking because that's what we here for. Thank you guys so much. And if any of this seemed confusing, go back and watch some of the parts again, leave some information to help me out, and then go watch the Linux basics if you don't understand any of the some of the things I was mentioning as well. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much and have a good night.